Welcome to Jill Cameron Creations. Today we're going to be taking a look at how to use digital stamps. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a single thing. We are talking digital stamps today. As you can see, I have buckets of traditional stamps, but we're going to talk about digital stamps today. Digital stamps open an entirely new world, especially if you enjoy coloring for your crafting needs. Now, whether you are a scrapbooker, a card maker, a sewer, whatever you want to do, digital stamps allow you many different options. So I have a brand new set that's over in my store right now, and it's the Berry birthday stamp set. It is a mama bear and a day bear, and little girl bear, little boy bear, a set of balloons, and a birthday cake. All of these are resizable. You can cut them out, either fussy cut them, or you can actually do the outline. The SVG files are included with them. You can resize all of it to meet your needs, and you can create a scene, print it out, and you don't have to do any masking behind it. So what we're going to do today is actually talk about how to print your digital stamps, how to create a scene, what software you need, and how to do all of that. I'm going to do this a couple of different ways. First, we're going to talk about the simplest way for anybody to be able to do this, and that is to use Google. Anyway, Google Docs is what you need, and it's, Google, Gmail, and all that stuff is free. So we're going to be using Google Docs, and I'm going to show you how to upload your images into Google Docs and create scenes and size them appropriately to what you want to print and all that kind of stuff. But then I'm also going to show you how to do this in Silhouette Studio and in Cricut Design Space. That way you can actually import your images, use the SVG files to create cut files for them so that your images look like they are traditional stamps. There are a couple of drawbacks that I hear most often. It takes a really long time to create a digital stamp, an image and that kind of thing. After you get used to it, it really doesn't. It doesn't take any more time than walking over here, finding the stamp that I want, pulling out the paper, pulling out the ink, and stamping it after I've mounted it on a block and or in a stamping platform, and then coloring it. It really doesn't take that much more time. The other thing I hear is, well, it's not as versatile. I can't do as much with it. The one thing that I have that has in the past been a drawback to digital stamps is if you wanted to heat emboss them. So for example, you have this particular stamp that I have actually, stamped with Versamark ink and then heat embossed in gold foil embossing powder. Traditionally, you haven't been able to do that. But there's a lot of different tools out there now that would allow you to actually outline that stamp or print that stamp using a Versamark and or embossing pen in something like a Silhouette Cameo or a Cricut Design Space. Instead of printing it, you would actually draw it using the pen in your machine. And then you would just add your embossing powder over it and heat set it. So let's get into it, and I'm going to show you, I'm going to do screen captures and things, and we'll get into setting up digital stamps. The first method that we're going to talk about to do digital stamps to be able to print them is going to be Google Docs. And Google Docs is free. It's really easy to utilize. And what we're going to do first is just open a blank document. So we have our Google Doc open here, and we're going to do a couple of things first. We are going to change our margins to 1/2 inch. If you want to, you can also save this document as your template. So you don't have to do that every time. Next, we're going to insert an image and we're going to upload it from our computer here. I'm going to upload one of my very birthday images, and I'm going to use the JPG files, and I'm going to upload my dad. Now this is very, very centered in my image here, in my page. I'm going to reduce this up to make him a little bit smaller. I can also do options over here. I'm going to actually crop this down so that it doesn't change the size of my bear. It just takes away the background that's around him. And that's good. And then I can adjust the size and make him bigger or smaller. And he's also more in the corner of my paper there. Okay. Now you can also duplicate this. So if you wanted to, if you were going to do more than one, you can copy and paste him into multiple sections here. You can turn him, you can just grab the handle and turn just like you would in just about any other program. And then all you have to do is actually send this to the printer. Don't forget, you want to check back over on the blog post where I talk about the printer that I use as well as the paper. So there is our little bear, and that's how you just import an image. Ta-da! It's nice and done for you pretty much. Just reduce this, crop the size down of the background of the image and plop him where you want to be. And so how do you build a scene this way if you want to? Google Docs is not the easiest thing in the world to build a scene with. Just because it doesn't allow you to manipulate the images in a free-form manner. It's still going to keep it within the confines of a document. Like I can't pick this up and move him over here if I want to. So I don't recommend Google Docs if you want to build a scene using your digital stamps. I actually recommend a very easy to use piece of software for this particular thing. And it's totally free, and it's Silhouette Studio. So I'm going to switch over. So Silhouette Studio is a free program that you don't have to have a Silhouette, Cameo, or any other hardware to use the software. You can go and download the software right now at silhouetteamerica.com and download the basic version of this. And that's what we're going to use, is just the basic version. It's totally free and easy to use. It's very easy to use. So the first thing that we do, Silhouette saves the last page setup that you had when you closed it the last time. And it just so happens that I was working in an 8.5 by 11 media the last time I was in here. So the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to open your page setup, which is going to be either here, or you can also do it here. Print page setup. You can do that over here, or you can do that over here. So we're going to click on here, and it doesn't matter about the cutting mat or the Cameo. What we're looking for is the letter size of the media size right here. An 8.5 by 11 is your media size, because we're going to be printing on an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. So that's what we want to do. So I'm going to go ahead and close this, and I'm going to open my PNG images with a white images with a black outline. That's what I'm going to do, because these all have, and I'm going to go ahead and just open all of these, and I'm just holding down the control key on a Windows keyboard. So all of our images are open, and you see, you can't see the grid line through her, and that's because my image is filled in with white. So it's a white image with a black outline there. So we have our untitled over here, and what I can do is I'm going to start with Mom, and I'm just going to click on Mom, and I'm going to Control C to copy her, and then I'm going to Control V to paste her. And I'm going to drop her way down because we're going to make a little scene here. and it's going to be Mom's birthday. So we're going to put her in the center of this. And then we have a birthday cake. And I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to reduce this down. And I'm going to set the cake in front of her. And she's going to stand right here. And if I want to move this so it's more to the top of the page, more inside the page, I can do that. And there is our little scene. And all I have to do is print that out. Now, if that's all you need to know how to do, you can go ahead and stop right here. And here is how you print out and utilize some digital stamps here. I'm going to go forward from here and we're going to talk about how to actually print this so that you can put it in your Silhouette Cameo and die cut it out as one whole scene here. Okay? All right, so we have our images here, and what we're going to do real quick is we are going to create a trace area, and it's going to select all of the images. It's going to be a little slow, and we're going to select the outer edge of all of this. Okay, so now all of my images, as you can see, have a red line around them individually. And we're going to click on that and offset it. And you can do this even with the free account. And I'm going to change this to 0.080. And then I'm going to go back and grab that cut line that's on the black, and I'm going to delete it so I have just the outline. Now I'm going to go here to my page setup, and I'm going to click on registration marks and turn them on so that I know where my print border is, and it also will print my marks on my paper. Oops. I didn't mean to pick her up. And what we're going to do real quick here is I'm just going to scoot this all down just a shade. Now, when you print it, it's not going to print that red line or this red line. It's only going to print your images that are on the paper. Then, once you have printed it, you can color everything up, put it on a regular cutting mat, and send it to your printer, send it to your Silhouette Cameo, and it's going to register this mark, and this mark, and it'll know where to cut your images. It's a really cool process. So, that's how you do it in Silhouette Studio. All right, so we're in Cricut Design Space. I'm not as familiar with Cricut Design Space as I am in Silhouette Studio because I am a Silhouette user and not a Cricut user. However, it's still a really simple process. You're in your design space. You can upload your images first, or you can do it, open and start a new project and then bring your images in. So I'm going to select our mama bear here. And I'm going to select open. This is a simple image. It's just a simple high contrast, transparent and monochrome backgrounds. So we're going to click on that. And then we're going to click continue. Now it's actually asking what areas of the image do we want removed. As you can see, there's a lot of white space around here because this is the JPG image. So I'm just going to click on the background, and Design Space is going to remove that white background for me. And then I'm going to click continue. And it's asking me, do I want to print this and then cut it, or do I want to have this as a cut image? You can go back through this process and complete this twice if you wanted to, so you could have that cut image just alone. But we're going to do the print and cut, and then we're going to click on save, and that's going to import this into our blank canvas here. Now she's pretty big, and it tells you how that she's just way too big, because this is a pretty big image, just so that you can do whatever you want to with it, however you want to with it. So we're going to reduce this down, and it gives you the dimensions right here, and then we can zoom back in and see that. And you can do this repeatedly with your other images and build your scene however you want to, or just create your print and cut and just click on make it, and it will do all of your cut lines and things for you. So that's how you do this in Cricut Design Space. Very similar to the method that you use for